Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to introduce a genuine American hero, winner of 2 Purple Hearts, the Bronze Star and the Silver Star. He not only fought for his country, but he continues to fight for his ideals and principles every day. We all know him as the man who stood up to Congress to defend our nation's efforts to defeat communism. He's part of the reason we won that historic struggle. He continues to speak out for the things he believes in, and more importantly, the things the American people need to hear. My friends, no one stands up for the men and women who risk their lives for our freedom more than this man. He just returned from his 22nd deployment, covering our troops in their fight to defeat Islamic terror. To that end, he founded the Freedom Alliance to honor and encourage military service, defend the sovereignty of the United States, and promote a strong national defense. We're proud that he's chosen to serve on the NRA Board of Directors, and we're honored to have him here today. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North.
Thank you all. Thank you, Chris Cox. Thank you. Part of my job here this afternoon is to keep us on schedule, but I do want to make one deviation from my prepared remarks. I want to thank Governor Palin for making it okay to wear my glasses on television. Better yet, I can see what I'm supposed to be saying. As the chairman of the NRA's Veterans and Military Affairs Committee, it's my privilege to address you each year on the eve of Armed Forces Day. Since my last report to our membership, I have been twice to Afghanistan to report on our troops for Fox News Channel. And thank you for making Fox News #1 in America. I want to give you a couple of reports that you're not going to see on the Jane Fonda Network or covered by the Washington Compost. Since I last reported to you, we have signed up more than 50,000 new active duty members of our armed forces as members of the National Rifle Association. And that's important because these are the next generation of leaders in America. In every walk of life, both in politics and in business and academia, and yes, even in the media. A few hours ago, I was interviewed by several of what we now call our colleagues. Back in my day, we were soldiers, or we were sailors, or airmen, or Marines. Well, now we are colleagues in the mainstream media. I was asked why it is that so many active duty and veterans become members of the NRA. And I tried to explain to my colleagues that we in the NRA are the defenders of American liberties, those who serve and who have served. Those of you who rose when Wayne LaPierre asked those of you who are members of the armed forces or former members to stand, you and we are the defenders of what those who serve in uniform today are fighting to defend. We're trying to preserve the liberties that they fight for. That's what the NRA is all about. There's no doubt in my mind that the far left in America and the so-called mainstream media will never get it. But the fact is, we know that without the Second Amendment, we wouldn't have the other 9 parts of our Bill of Rights. We, because this is a celebration of American values, we know that we are the leaders in protecting the civil liberties that made America great. If there was no NRA, as I told one of them there, we would have to invent one. And I was given this blank stare by the young producer. A major part of our challenge in this organization is making sure that the potentates on the Potomac never forget we are watching them. One of the reporters looked at me after I said that, and he said, "You seem to be enjoying this." And I said, "The truth be known, I love what I do. I love keeping company with heroes. I love speaking out for the NRA, in large part because it drives the left a little bit nuts." I also love standing up to the political power brokers and the masters of the media who are simply wrong. But we in the NRA know that it's wrong to treat soldiers and sailors and airmen and Marines in combat like laboratory rats in a radical social experiment. We know that's wrong. We in the NRA know that it's wrong to take the word of our enemies before wrongfully prosecuting our warriors in the midst of a war. We know in the NRA that it's wrong to deny who our enemy really is when we know that terrorism today is perpetrated by radical Islamic extremists. We know that it's wrong for any administration, no matter what their political stripe, to try to abridge the civil liberties that we hold dear. And we know in the NRA that it's wrong to mortgage our children's future beneath a mountain of debt for bills that they will pass on to them. When I go out to cover those who fight for our country, I remind them, among the 250,000 that are on this very day serving overseas, many of them in harm's way in places like Iraq and Afghanistan or the Philippines, that the NRA is here to cover their six. No matter what this administration says about profiling, these troops know the profile of those who are dying to kill us.